Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, May 22, 2022. Oh, the big event of the week, the topic on everyone's lips. Esther might have a date. It's the event everyone is talking about, Esther's potential date. Nah, I'm just kidding, Esther. We'll talk about you later. The real question is, was this the funkiest, grooviest, most badass soap opera wedding that you've ever been to? That's our poll question at yrchat.com. Mariah and Tessa's wedding, do you give it rock on hands or was it a bird book? Oh, wow. I'm really happy with how it all turned out. I really feel that this wedding had a noticeable element of joy to it. And that's a comment that I saw over and over again, that people felt it was joyful, that everyone seemed happy. There were smiles and laughter and tears and dancing, you know? It's very clear that a lot of thought was put into all of the different elements of this affair, and I really think that it paid off. This was a great week of Y&R. First and foremost, my favorite part was the wedding vows. Surprisingly, because soap opera wedding vows can be so predictable and so stale, but Mariah and Tessa's wedding vows were some of the best wedding vows that I've ever heard. Of course, they wrote their own vows. They steered away from the traditional I do's. That was expected. But I really felt like Mariah and Tessa made their vows personal. And not only personal to each other, but in a way, it was as if they were speaking about themselves to the audience. The things that they said were so very related to their characters in a really meaningful way. With this ring, I offer you all that I am and all that I hope to be. I love that. Not only all that I am, but all that I hope to be, meaning this is not just about our union, our marriage, but there's an element of personal growth that has taken place and is taking place here. I especially thought that Tessa's vows were so perfect for her. They really showed her as a woman, as an artist, and as a character who has grown so much since the first days when she was introduced onto the show and through her evolution on the show. She told Mariah, every song that I write is about you, and everything I know about love is because of you. Likewise, Mariah's vows really seemed to be part of a larger personal statement about her character and who she is. She said, the first two great miracles of my life, number one was I found my mom, and she taught me how to love and how important love is. So I was ready for you, Tessa, when you came along. Even though I didn't really know what was happening at first, I just thought I made a friend. I really liked that line as an inclusion to part of Mariah's journey of discovering who she is and who she is through her love of Tessa. I mean, we know that there's an underlying context there in that comment about Mariah's sexuality. At first, she didn't know what was happening. She thought it was friendship that she was feeling for Tessa, but then it became love. She realized that it was love. And I think that's actually a statement that you really could say about any of the great loves that you can think of. At first, I thought you were just a friend, but then it was more. I think that was a really great moment of equalizing, of stripping away the things that make this couple different and really highlighting a way in which their love is the same. And we also had Chloe making that comment on the legality of same-sex marriage and really throwing down the gauntlet by saying, well, two people should be able to marry whoever they want. Ooh, I bet that really ticked some people off. The greatest twist of the wedding, of course, was the fact that Jack caught the bouquet. That was so unexpected. I never would have imagined that outcome, not in a million years. That's such a great way to buck tradition. Just not only having a guy catch the bouquet by accident, but the fact that he kept it and he embraced it. And then it was Jack. That was really fun. And I thought it was really fun the way they tossed the bouquet back and forth several times before it actually did land to him, and he kept it, he embraced it. I loved that. I also really loved the way we saw everyone dancing, especially Nick. He was adorkable as usual. Just what a delight Nick has been lately. I don't want to fail to mention how much his relaxed, calm, cool comedy really adds to the show on a weekly basis. I mean, seeing him, seeing everyone having fun and just being relaxed and kicking back was a really nice change of pace. It felt like a little bit of a vacation from the drama, and I was judging all of their dance moves, of course. Seeing who had the moves and who did not. Oh, but most importantly, it just really seemed like everybody was having a good time. And those twisty pink drinks that they were all drinking looked delicious. What was the pink twisty thing? Some sort of fruit? I don't know. Would it be gauche, though, if I pulled it out? Toss it in the trash somewhere to take a drink of my fruity drink? Oh, that was just an element of ambiance there. I mean, the whole top of the tower looked great. Noah really outdid himself. Oh, I loved the neon lights. I loved how full the set looked. I mean, it was stuffed with flowers and gifts and a cozy couch for everyone to sit on to watch the wedding in comfort instead of the traditional uncomfortable folding chairs. I mean, that says luxury right there, folks. Have a seat on the couch to watch the wedding. Everything was comfortable. I really liked the specific scene at the party from just behind Mariah and Tessa's perspective, and we could see them with their feet kicked up, just watching how much fun everyone was having and reveling in this moment. This is the moment they want to remember forever. And even when it was all said and done, they went back to their apartment that was crammed. Again, crammed, stuffed with flowers and gifts. And apparently Faith is going to become a wedding planner someday. I approve. She did a great job with decorating the apartment for them just as a surprise. I thought that was such a sweet gesture to make sure that Mariah and Tessa came home to something special. They even had their cute matching star robes. I really liked that. I thought that was great. I thought that the gift opening scene was hilarious. The bird book. Okay. People's ideas of wedding gifts can be so bizarre. But I really liked the solid gold rock-on hand. I thought that was pretty much perfect for a 70s wedding. Might be the only thing that said 70s. Oh, but it was nice to just sit down with them and to enjoy their happiness. And then it moved to the bedroom. Wow, I almost can't believe that giant bedroom fits in that tiny apartment. Pretty cool. I liked it. They had a nice big bed with really beautiful bedding. It had tons of pillows on it. It was all sitting in front of a brick wall, so it was completely consistent with the rest of the set. They also had some really cool lighting and some lamps, and there was lots of atmosphere. I was so grateful to Y&R for raising the standard there and not making Mariah and Tessa have wedding night sofa sex. It's very telling how Nick and Sharon seem to be embracing Mariah and Tessa like their mom and dad, like they are the mom and dad of these two. And Tessa actually called Sharon Mom. I thought that was a really sweet moment that I totally savored. And then Sharon and Nick presented Mariah and Tessa with their wedding gift of a honeymoon. Oh, you thought you were going to have to go to a dirty cabin in the woods? Psych! You're going to Paris! First class, no doubt. Peel off a few $1,000s from that anonymous Ray Rosales donation fund. And book the girls a good hotel for their honeymoon. Yes. Oh. Well, it's natural, I suppose, that Nick and Sharon would want to treat Mariah, and now Tessa, as nothing less than family. Mariah was Cassie's sister. She looks just like her, for goodness sake. And I really connected with the pre-wedding moment where Sharon was giving Mariah her sister's garnet bracelet. I guess she had given Mariah, I think it was a ring, and now she was giving Mariah Cassie's garnet bracelet. That all brought it home to me, the significance here. Faith's toe rings, however, did not. Faith gave Mariah and Tessa, as a pre-wedding gift, matching toe rings. How romantic. I just about choked on my tea. Matching toe rings. How romantic. Oh. But speaking of family, I am really glad that Tessa had her sister present for the pre-wedding moments. I think that was the right move by Y&R. If Tessa had no one to be with in the moments leading up to the wedding, I would have been really bummed. So props to Y&R for bringing in Crystal. I think the whole anticipation of Tessa's dress not arriving really did not land for me. I just didn't feel scared that it wasn't going to arrive. And then when Chloe and Kevin did show up with the dress, it was only like a 5-second resolution. So that part of it didn't feel very meaningful to me. I really wish that we could have seen the process of the dresses. I wish that Chloe or Chelsea would have spent the past month really working with Mariah and Tessa and letting us at least pretend to see the dress designing process. I mean, they were designer dresses made for them. I would have liked to have seen a tape measure or something. Or, you know, since Sally and Tessa had that meeting a couple of weeks ago, I wish maybe Sally could have spent the last month designing Tessa's dress instead of just being isolated and stuck in Newman drama world. Little bit of resolution here. Right before Mariah and Tessa's wedding, Noah had a chat with Nick, pretty much clearing away his relationship with Tessa. He said that he realizes now he was just fixated on her because he knew in a way that he would never be able to have her. She was someone safe to focus on because he knew nothing would ever come of it. Wow, I guess that's a nice, neat bow right on top of that. Almost seems like a story that just didn't pan out to me. Well, now along comes Crystal, carrying an entire champagne bottle. She can just dance Noah off the screen into a new romance. I really think a Crystal-Noah romance could be very good. Crystal has a very fun personality, and she would make a very good, fun contrast to Allie's personality. Crystal and Noah seemed to hit it off a lot at the wedding, had a lot of fun, although if I were Crystal, I would be so annoyed that everyone seems to feel the need to bring up in public the fact that I am fresh out of prison. Can we just ixnay on the isn't pray talk for a little bit? Like, I'm chatting it up with a cute guy, and Abby feels the need to bring up my prison time. Cool it! But yeah, we also have Allie coming up as a contender here. Noah had a very awkward first meeting with her. I don't know, Allie seems so young compared to Noah, or is that just me? Maybe she comes off as more youthful, whereas Noah comes off as more sardonic. I mean, I guess that could be a really good contrast. They also had a really nice, long, intimate talk, not only at the wedding, but then they also had the random late night coffee house encounter, which is so sort of sexy to me. I love the idea of the coffee house just being totally empty at night, and Noah accidentally leaves the door and like, oops, and Allie comes in. I like that element. I think there's something that could be played with there. But I don't know if it's going to be a love connection between Allie and Noah, because you know who really has chemistry with Allie? Ashley. Ashley and Allie have chemistry. Because they're both chemists. Get it? I have jokes. Oh, it makes me glad that Allie's going to stick around, she's only sticking around for a couple of days, says Allie, but Ashley's going to turn around and offer her a job or something here pretty soon. Oh, but yeah, I really did connect with the scenes between Allie and Noah. Allie really grew on me this way. In a lot of ways, she seems very thoughtful in a youthful, kind of idyllic sort of way. She still has that idealism of youth, and she here's a good instance of it. She wanted to compliment Noah on the decorating that he did at top of the tower, but she didn't want to just say, I love it. Saying I love it is a phrase that is it's too cliche. She wanted to choose her words a little more carefully so that the words she said actually conveyed meaning rather than just using some sort of hollow, overused compliment like, I love it. Oh, I love that. I don't agree with the way my boss is running things. Can't we just buy the company and relocate it back to Genoa City? Oh, Summer, you really have changed. Clearly, this is going to be a new era of Summer, the more mature version. Oh, maybe it'll be a more mature Summer. She did make a special effort at the wedding to extend the olive branch to Mariah, and that tells us that she's changed a lot. She's a mom now. She's also changed in that she's a totally different actress. And I must say, I love her. I love new Summer. She fits like a glove. I mean, just absolutely comfortable right off the bat. So confident, so sassy. She just slid right into that role. I'm barely gonna notice. She had me at the moment where she told Allie that she could not let her stay alone in the big old empty Abbott mansion because it's probably haunted. Damn straight it's haunted. I can't believe nobody has ever mentioned that before. There is no way that a ghost or two is not floating around in those hallways upstairs. Oh, beautiful. I also loved how immediately and completely Summer embraced Allie, even offered her an outfit from her own suitcase of Milan fashion wear. She apparently just so happened to have a rainbow sequin dress in the bag, an extra rainbow sequin dress in the bag, and a fur jacket to go over it. Summer traveled all the way from Milan with that fur stuffed into her suitcase. Going to a 70s wedding? Well, you gotta have an extra fur. It's creepy that Diane was creeping at Mariah and Tessa's wedding. Delightfully creepy, I suppose I should say. It's creepy that she was creeping, though. I mean, Kyle had to ask her to leave. How embarrassing. I'm sorry that my crazy not dead mom was creeping at your wedding. And then even after Kyle politely asked Diane to leave, she asked if she could stay a little bit longer to meet Summer. Hello, you're not a guest here. You can meet Summer anytime. It was totally inappropriate. In the best way. Besides, it really didn't work out for Diane anyway, because that stank face that Summer was giving to Diane during that whole interaction was legendary. Summer killed Diane again with a look. I mean, really. I knew I was going to like this girl, and then I saw the way she was stank-facing Diane, and it just went up so many notches. Summer doesn't trust Diane. She loves Kyle. She's worried about Kyle and her family with Kyle. She doesn't trust Diane, and of course, neither does her mother, Phyllis. And you can pretty much bet that Summer and Phyllis are going to be tag teaming to make sure that Diane stays in her lane, which, according to them, should be a one-way lane right back to Los Angeles. Phyllis does not want to let Diane get any kind of foothold in Genoa City. Phyllis literally got up in Michael's face this week. Literally up in his face, pretty much like a high school girl telling him that he shouldn't be hanging out with Diane. Well, Michael told Phyllis to suck it up. And that is just one of the many reasons that I love Michael Baldwin. Suck it up! Phyllis actually left the wedding so that she could go back to the hotel and kick Diane out of it. Phyllis actually missed seeing Jack catch the bouquet because she was too focused on getting back to the hotel so she could kick Diane out of it. Well, when Phyllis got back to Jack later that night, he was telling her all about the bouquet, saying, "Oh, I caught it, but I don't know if I'll ever be married again." And Phyllis said, "Oh, I don't know about that." And then she kissed him. And then she took him to bed. And then she dragged him out for the town to see, so everybody could see the afterglow of the sex that they had. And I thought, Phyllis, girl, I don't know about this. Don't tell Jack Abbott, sentimental goopy Jack Abbott, that he's going to be married again and then kiss him and then have sex with him if you don't mean it. I'm pretty sure that Jack's whole romantic world is rocked right now. And he is so easily rocked. I mean, did you notice he had to sleep in late the next day? I think Kyle and Summer said, "Oh, you slept in late." He was like, "Yeah, I was extra tired." He did a little extra exercise. I'm sure that Jack wishes he would have known that Phyllis was going to have this change of heart, because maybe he could have brought his stash of Viagra with him so he could go another couple rounds. Oh. This is hilarious. it's great. You know, I'm happy for Jack. I'm happy for Jack. You know, I love seeing that big smiling happy face. I love that little extra spring in his step. But I'm worried. Is Phyllis being fueled more by her desire to not let Diane get her claws into Jack? Or as Diane herself called it, is Phyllis marking her territory? That's what bothers me, because Phyllis did all of this. Phyllis suddenly, after weeks of denying that anything's going on with her and Jack, suddenly decided to sleep with Jack after Diane made a comment about Jack maybe forgiving her. And Phyllis was only dancing with Jack at the wedding every time Diane was there. Like, she was only kind of dancing with Jack to dance him away from Diane. And those are just little body language things. But it's almost like Phyllis is going all in on Jack as a response to the fact that Diane is back in town. And I really hope that's not the case, because if Phyllis wants to play games, then I just need her to go back to Nick. I'm sure that he has a spare video game controller waiting for her if playing games is what she wants. Ooh, next week, Ashland and Diane make friends. That could be good in a bad way, or bad in a good way. Oh, I have to admit, it was kind of nice having a break from Victoria and Ashland. The first part of the week, we didn't see them at all. And then when Ashland popped up on Friday, I was like, oh yeah, him. I almost wish that we could just take 2 weeks off from Ashland and then come back fresh on him. Like, give me a chance to forget how he betrayed me. Maybe send him back to Tuscany for another recreated Tuscan balcony moment from the wedding. It took a moment for me to figure that out, too. For some reason, I was looking at Ashland and Victoria on the balcony in Tuscany, and I was like, wait a minute. That Ashland and Victoria were never in Tuscany together. It's another lie. Just another Ashland lock lie. Oh. Well, after Victoria remembered that recreated memory, she decided to call Nikki and agree to get out of town for a while. Nikki had suggested it. Victoria is now agreeing to it. I was thinking that maybe instead she might decide to go to bat for Ashland with Kyle and Summer, because Kyle and Summer both just found out from Jack what Ashland was up to while they were away, and now they are denying Ashland access to Harrison. Father? Where did you go, Father? Father, can you hear me? Kate Linder's 40th anniversary of playing Esther Valentine. Wow, 40 years. That's a pretty darn big deal. 40 years of doing anything is pretty remarkable. Yeah, I really loved those flashbacks. Esther is such a blissfully tortured character. I mean, she has had some pretty big heartaches, and Kate Linder's really good at portraying that. She really knows how to turn on the sad eyes and make you feel for her. I mean, that's really quite a talent considering what a nitwit character Esther is most of the time, but Kate Linder really does know how to pull on your heartstrings. But I think it's because the character itself has heart. I definitely appreciate Esther way more than I did in the past. I mean, by the time I started watching the show, the French maid thing had already come and gone. And so to me, it always just played as weird and wacky and just sort of dorky and not modern at all. But I think it's only in retrospect that I have been able to develop an appreciation for it. But it's also nice to know that Esther has gone on to have a more modern life. She hung up her feather duster eventually. And Chloe, the little snot, helping Esther set up her dating profile. I completely forgot and was totally disgusted by the way that Chloe was trying to make Esther feel ashamed by her profession. Like, what? Who does that? I mean, maybe that's something that's changed drastically over the years. Maybe being in the service industry is something that used to be looked down upon. I don't remember feeling that way, and I was certainly watching at the time, so I don't know, maybe if that's just sensibility changing, but that was so shocking to me that Chloe would dare talk down to Esther over that. But, you know, I liked hearing Esther talk in the flashbacks and in the present time about how proud she was to do that job, that it was meaningful to her, that she felt needed. And, of course, Chloe apologized for ever talking down to her about it. And, you know, now Chloe has grown and Esther has grown, and here's hoping that she will be able to find a man who wants her for more than her money. Well, it's not a Y&R Chat wedding edition unless we have fashion chat to go along with it. And I just have so much to say. I had to make some notes. I have a lot to say about the 70s fashion, I guess. I don't know. I say we should kick off this fashion chat by talking about Noah's guy liner. And his all black, like, turtleneck and pants. I don't know. He looked like Steve Jobs revealing the latest wedding model. All black with that black eyeliner, clicking away on his tablet for each lighting and music cue. I don't know if that was 70s. That looked a little more 80s to me. Noah was not wearing nearly enough feathers and fur for it to be 70s. Surely the 70s is feathers and fur. Don't ever forget it. Crystal and Faith were wearing the same feather cape in 2 different colors, and that was very annoying to me. They weren't in any scenes together, so maybe you didn't notice it, but I noticed it. And that seems to be a trend lately, where it's like Y&R picks up a couple pieces from the same line, and they'll have 2 characters in the same episode wearing clearly the same style, the same cut of an item, only it's in 2 different patterns or 2 different colors. But all right. Also in feathers, Sharon. Sharon had on her red feathers like a red mother hen. Maybe it was, no, that way it was fur. I mean, it was interesting, but it's still feathers and fur. And when she took the fur off, Sharon looked like a sequin red flame in that orange red fire with those big golden sunburst earrings and a big golden bangle. Oh, Sharon was gorgeous. Of all the wedding guests, Sharon was my best dressed, and oh, she looked so good standing next to Nick. Nick was so sexy and cool in his purple velvet prince jacket. Oh, he was fun and dorky. It seemed like almost like Y&R got a deal on the men's jackets or something. Like there was a sale down at Costumes R Us, and they were able to pick up a variety of patterned men's jackets for all the dudes to wear, because Devon and Nate were also wearing textured patterned jackets, but none of them even held a candle to the Reverend Kyle Abbott himself. Oh, that gray paisley jacket with the ruffled dress shirt and the big bow tie. He was the best dressed guy at the wedding for me. Oh, I loved it. But also, again, Y&R got a deal because Nick was wearing the same dress shirt with the ruffle down the front in a different color. I think Nick's might have been black, and oh God, Kyle looked so good. Moses was there. Moses is such a cutie. Oh my God, I love Moses. I was just about to complain about where the heck did Moses go? And then he was there. That made me happy. Oh, let's see. A couple other notables. Well, Chloe was also wearing feathers, right? I think it was a purple feather. I thought that Abby, I loved Abby's dress. She looked kind of like Cleopatra in like this jeweled collar. It seemed like the collar was hard jewels all the way around, and then it draped down into a beautiful teal color for the dress. I thought that was great. I thought Amanda was very booblicious in her navy dress with a sparkly wrap, and Phyllis looked amazing in chartreuse. She wears that color a lot. She seems to like that chartreuse color, and it really becomes with her. It goes with her hair. She looked great. Maybe you even thought of it more as a lime green or something, but it's sort of it's right in between green and yellow, and it goes great with her hair. And I gotta say, Elena may wear cotton socks all week long, but that girl always brings it to formal wear. She looked sexy and shiny in her silver dress with her short side swept hair. Elena looked good. What else do I have? Okay, well, here's my best dress. I guess I don't have a worst dress. I forgot. I'm so focused on the positive this week. I'm just gonna give you my best dress. I gotta give it to the brides. Best dress for me goes to the brides, especially Tessa. No one at the wedding looked more beautiful than Tessa. She looked like a hippie Greek goddess gliding out of the ocean and into her wedding. She stepped out of the ocean and into the wedding, real sleek and elegant, and I thought Mariah looked really good too. She loves a plunging neckline. She does that a lot, and I liked the gemmy, lacy detail on top of the white dress. It was sort of almost like a cream color in a way, but it was a nice contrast to the white. I loved the blouse cuffs on her dress. It kind of made it a little baggy around the wrist. I liked that. The cutout back I could have done without. I'm not a big fan of cutout backs, but I thought the girls looked great. They looked like they went together. Both dresses had a tie front. Both girls were wearing headbands. I really liked Mariah's. She had a gold leafy looking headband, and then Tessa had a beautiful diamondy flowery headband with a ribbon tie in the back. Again, hippie goddess. Oh, I loved both of the brides. I did not love their wedding bouquets, though. They were enormous. They looked like fake flowers, which means they were probably real, but I was like, whatever, get those big, ugly, red things out of the way of these dresses. More like a marshmallow. That's what we should have been going for. More like a marshmallow. No, I'm just kidding. That was our Who Said It quote from last week. More like a marshmallow. Well, the answer was Elena. I knew that was going to be a hard one. Nate was giving a amazing magical hand massage to Elena on the couch. And I can't remember what exactly he said, but she said he made her feel more like a marshmallow. Oh, it's almost as if everyone else was not as in tune to that scene as I was. I can't imagine why, but Henry, Brittany, Ron, Juanita, Ambrine, and Victoria, you guys all saw the goodness. The marshmallowy goodness. Here's our quote for this week. Do you know who said it? Love is hard to find and even harder to keep. Love is hard to find and even harder to keep. Who said it? If you think you know, you should go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now let's disco groove our way over to your comments, starting with Diane K, who says, I think they could have had a better dress for Mariah. It just doesn't hang right on her. Ooh, scandal, you didn't like the dresses. I guess I didn't think of it as being a bad dress, but hey, it's all relative. But for as much as was put into this wedding, they needed to get those dresses right. Those dresses needed to be a slam dunk with everybody, not just me. Tony says, I thought the dresses were similar in fabric, sleeves, close to style. It would have been fun if they had chosen and shown up in the same dress. Tony, that would have been so good if they would have not known that they chose the same dress and shown up. Oh, that'd be funny. But they both do have totally different styles, but that would have been a fun moment. And how about this from Ellen? I thought they, or one of them, might have chosen chic suits in a rich fabric. And also a popular option at lesbian weddings. They looked beautiful, though. Ellen, suits! Why didn't I think of that? One or both of them should have been wearing a suit. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? If they would have been wearing a suit, then we probably would have said, well, lesbians can like dresses, too. Y&R was damned if they do, damned if they don't. And I think they know that, but I gotta say, 2 suits would have been really nice looking. I like that idea. Would have been offbeat. Well, Sue W. says, the wedding was fun. I thought Y&R, Noah, did a great job of making a joyous occasion of both the ceremony and the celebration. Yes, Sue W's, there's that word, joyous. That's exactly, if I could pick one word to describe it, it's joyous. You really nailed it there. I also think it is funny. Who did it? I seemed like Noah did the venue, and then Faith did all the other planning stuff. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure where Noah's job ended and Faith's job began, but you're right. Both of them, in quotes, did a great job. Oh, here's a detail from Sherrod who says, I guess the neon heart at the wedding goes back to their first date when Mariah said, it feels like there's a neon sign over our heads telling the world we are more than friends. I kind of love that. Oh, I never would have guessed that. That's so perfect. That's a perfect tie-in for the neon. I didn't even think of that. Ooh, good one. Diana says, I think it would have been a nice addition to see some kids at the wedding. Children love weddings, and we have not seen Christian, Bella, or Miles in ages. Christian is Mariah's stepbrother. Why is he not invited to his sister's wedding? Harrison had to stay home also. Oh yeah, Harrison did go to Victoria and Ashland's wedding, but you're right, I didn't even notice there were no children at this one. This wedding almost seemed very late night. I don't know if you guys got that idea. Well, I guess a lot of weddings are, but it almost just, everything felt like it was happening at night. Maybe the kids were home having cookies. Cookies and milk, the only thing soap opera kids ever eat. No, that's not true. Apparently Harrison licked some cinnamon roll frosting off the cinnamon rolls. So soap opera kids eat cookies and cinnamon roll icing. Henry says, I felt the Taraya wedding was awesome and possibly a first for daytime TV drama, aka the soaps. I imagine the ratings will reflect that. If I could weigh in on just one minor puzzling detail of the wedding, it would be that the music I heard did not reflect the 70s era. I am a product of that time in my life. I thought I was going to hear more of the Motown sound. Temptations, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Lionel Richie, Earth, Wind and Fire. Hell, Elton John! The music I heard was not 70s genre. I mean, no kidding. There ain't no doubt about it. This was not 70s. Anyway, slice it. It was not 70s on the attire. It was not 70s on the decor. And it was not 70s in the music. I don't know why they chose this when they didn't nail it, when they didn't pull it off. But absolutely, none of the music tracked as 70s to me whatsoever. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, there's licensing yada yadas that they probably have to get around. But I mean, it's CBS, Sony. Surely they could have found some. I'm sure they would have had access to some kind of music from a back catalog, an old catalog of something or other that could have made it a little more 70s-y, but no, they didn't do it. And Gary asks, are there drugs at the wedding? There's another way it's not the 70s. Yeah, if this is the 70s, where's the lewds? Oh. Well, Robbie says, I am so happy that they included Kevin. He is barely used anymore, but I'm glad he made it to the wedding. I'm sure that meant a lot to the actor, and his speech was so touching. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting to see Kevin. For some reason, I just assumed that Y&R wasn't going to get him, but then there he was, and he really brought it. Kamna says, wow, what a wedding. I don't visit the Y&R Facebook page very often, but I felt compelled to leave a comment there, so CBS knows that they did a good job with this milestone wedding. And I felt that the cast there was quite joyful as well. Ooh, there's that word again, joyful. Yeah, the cast seemed joyful. And Kamna says, Greg Ricart's speech was so significant. I am definitely going to watch this episode again. And Sherrod responds about Greg Ricart's speech being significant, that as well as Elizabeth Heinrichson's Chloe's remarks about a few years ago, it was not legal for two women to marry. It was like a nod to when she was Frankie/Maggie on AMC and was involved with Bianca. Ship name #BAM. I believe they were the first real same-sex couple on Daytime. Wait, so Elizabeth Heinrichson was involved as the first same-sex couple on Daytime? Really? Oh, well, now that makes so much more sense. I was sort of wondering why did that come out of her mouth as opposed to maybe Kevin or anyone, or Mariah or Tessa, but oh, that makes total sense now. Okay. Ellen says, yes, it took Y&R quite a while to catch up with reality, and there are still no gay men in all of Genoa City. This is very unrealistic. The cast consists of a disproportionate number of white, straight people with blue eyes. They need to do better. And Gary says, yes, that was the only bit of social frankness. Well, coming back to Chloe's comment, that was the only bit of social frankness that Mariah and Tessa have ever gotten in a story of a non-traditional same-sex relationship in Genoa City. In 2022, it's not very daring, but still the whole town has been oblivious in their support from day one. Yes, it is interesting. That was the only moment of, what'd you call it? Social frankness. One moment of social frankness from Chloe. And it certainly was, it was definitely a real moment. But the fact that it's not been there is the reason that it seems so significant, that there's been such a lack of it. It's all sort of, reality denying in a way. It's sort of life denying in a way. I mean, the idea here perhaps shouldn't be to hide the fact that this is controversial, that this was probably a controversial episode for Y&R, but we shouldn't perhaps hide it. Maybe we need to embrace the fact that it was controversial, to face it. That doesn't necessarily even have to denote a moral judgment about it, but just, hey, can we acknowledge that this is controversial? You know, I think that I would argue that everyone needs to make their own moral judgments about this, either way, any way. I mean, we don't need everyone to agree. We only need everyone to respect that it's the individual's right to choose what to believe, to choose how to act, to choose how to conduct your life, and to come to the table with some maturity and some respect and some love. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that, trying to push forward what it is that we want. And maybe you found this episode to be distasteful, and maybe you're a little afraid to talk out about that. But you know, I think it's okay to feel how you feel about it. The key is just, you know, an acknowledgement that this is the lifestyle. This is what their choice is. And I think Sherrod makes a really interesting point here about the equality of Mariah and Tessa as a lesbian couple versus the straight couples on the show. Sherrod says, so on Mariah and Tessa's wedding night, Y&R had the good old days couple making out with Jack and Phyllis, then the young couple of Kyle and Summer, but Tessa and Mariah were sitting 2 feet apart on their couch opening wedding gifts. And even when they did show them being intimate, it was much different than Kyle and Summer. Kyle was kissing Summer, and leading her out of the living room straight to the bedroom with him, taking off her robe. But with Tessa kissing Mariah and leading her out of the room, it gets cut off. And then the next we see Mariah's in bed alone. They're talking about babies. Well, Tessa takes off her own robe. Kyle and Summer don't get a fade to black with their love scene, but Tessa and Mariah do. I wonder why. I was really thinking that we would get an actual love scene, like the only one that they got in 2019, but I guess I can't get everything that I wanted. Yeah, this was very obvious to me too. I wonder if everyone was noticing this, that episode had 3 different lovemaking scenes in it. Jack, Phyllis, Kyle, Summer, and Mariah and Tessa. And there was something more reserved about the Mariah and Tessa lovemaking scene. And I would say, again, if we're dragging Y&R into the 21st century, if we're actually going to shine a light on this and actually look at it, not make a value judgment about it, just look at it, then we need to really do it. Don't flounder around. Show this lifestyle as it is in the same way that we do for all of the other couples. Now, for what it's worth, I thought the Kyle and Summer lovemaking scene was really, really lovely. I thought that it was very well choreographed. It had some nice cinematography. It had some really nice lighting effects. I liked the movements of it. I think that something similar would have worked really equally well for Mariah and Tessa. Victoria says, I know things aren't equal on Y&R when filming same-sex couples. However, I thought the scenes between Mariah and Tessa were very loving and intimate. Both actors have an ease with one another, which equates to knowing each other deeply on screen. Historically, Mariah and Tessa tend to talk more than they are physical with each other. Their first night unfolded, as did their wedding, with their vision of what is fun. Opening gifts and sharing remarks about the giver might not be for everyone, but it fits these two. I felt Tessa saying she wanted to stay awake all night so they wouldn't miss a moment of their special day spoke to how in love they are. Paris is a lucky city to have these two lovebirds join its ranks for their honeymoon. Yeah, I think that's the truth. Historically, Tessa and Mariah are definitely seen more talking as opposed to lovemaking. It's I guess I'm thinking maybe of like Phyllis and Nick's relationship or Billy and Lily, where it's very sexually driven. Mariah and Tessa's relationship is maybe more, I don't know, but certainly emotionally led as opposed to physically led. Maybe that's intentional on Y&R's part, but it almost feels a little bit like they want to dance around it. Like they want to dip their toe in the water, but they don't want to go all the way. And it's important, I think, to remember here, too, that Y&R is not unbiased. You cannot trust Y&R in their representation of this. Y&R has an agenda, and that agenda is to sell advertising on their show. So they're going to show what they think is going to maximize their advertising dollars. So we really can't look to Y&R to present us any kind of reality when it is there purely for entertainment, and clearly they've decided that this is the path to doing it. Well, on to other lovemaking. Jamie says, oh my, Fack got a full-blown sexy time scene. We all know I'm thrilled for a Fack reunion storyline. Break you off a piece of that Dapper Dan on a bed, no less. Yeah, they got a bed too. I guess, you know what? I didn't think about it, but all 3 of those lovemaking scenes were in a bed. Yes! That feels like progress right there. Naomi says, I would have been happy if it was cut to a commercial, then back to seeing them getting dressed. Jack just doesn't have the magic anymore. He's a grandfather to a young woman, and I see him interacting with Allie the same way he deals with Phyllis. That's why it's a little icky to me. He gives each the same smile. Oh. You know, it's interesting, though, in contrast to what we were just talking about with Mariah and Tessa, though. I mean, you know, some people might look at Mariah and Tessa and this is distasteful to me, I don't like it. But then, you know, we have this element of seeing an older man expressing his sexuality, and we look at it and it makes us uncomfortable, and I don't really like it. And again, it's not meant, you know, maybe don't view it as a I like this or I don't like this, but maybe it's more of a, oh, this is a representation of this type of life. And and certainly it's soap, so we're not always going for reality here. But yeah, I mean, you know what? Jack doesn't quite do it for me. Not gonna lie. I'm not like, ooh, Jack's got his shirt off. I mean, move over, Nate. Jack's got his shirt off. But at the same time, I would have been disappointed, I think, if Y&R had done a cut to commercial and then they just came back to putting their clothes on. You know, older men and older women enjoy expressing their sexuality with each other too. And again, if we're kicking open the door and we're just kind of showing life, representing life, if that's sort of where we're going for, you know, in a 21st century Y&R, then why not show it completely, shirt off and all, Dapper Dan and all. I don't trust Phyllis, and I don't trust her intentions with Jack. That's what bothers me. Victoria says, newer Y&R viewers saw the real Diane at Mariah and Tessa's wedding. She is so wonderfully disingenuous. Devious Diane is stalking Kyle by hiding behind walls and peering in to catch a glimpse of him and to get information. Who does this at a wedding? Isn't it great? Her stalking, then, is rewarded when Kyle comes over to speak to her. When Summer comes over, Diane goes right into her "I have changed" monologue, thus showing us she hasn't changed, or she would be giving Kyle some room instead of insinuating her way into his life. Y&R dropped another gem today when Diane told us she thinks Jack will give her another chance. It's just like Diane to orchestrate a happy family reunion with herself at the center of it all. I can't wait. And I feel, see, what bothers me though is that's, I think, why Phyllis slept with Jack. I think she was shoring up. She did not want I think she believes and has seen the signs that Jack is going to forgive Diane, or that he is going to ultimately go along with Kyle's choice. If Kyle decides to embrace Diane, then Jack told Diane then he's going to follow that lead. Because Diane tried to have an individual conversation with Jack, and he said, I'm not going to be in the middle of this, which is the right decision, by the way. But as Kyle starts to warm to her, then I think I think Phyllis knows that Jack is going to move in that direction too. And it almost seems like Phyllis was just trying to, as Diane said, mark her territory. Isn't it great? Ron says, I have to comment on Phyllis calling attention to Jack about Diane's presence. Why not enjoy the night instead of abruptly stopping dancing with Jack to let him know that she didn't want him to worry, but Diane is there? Fail. Then adds that she didn't approach Diane because she didn't want to ruin Mariah and Tessa's night. When has she ever cared about Mariah and Tessa? That is true. I don't want to ruin the night or anything, but looky look. Yeah, totally true. And Ellen says, of course Phyllis felt the need to butt into Kyle and Summer's interaction with Diane at the wedding. I thought she said Kyle was an adult and had the right to handle his relationship with his mother. But no, Phyllis has to march over and inject herself into something that's none of her business. And Jack is too weak to tell her to stay out of it. Are we in for more of my daughter, coming from Phyllis? Your daughter, the European fashion mogul, can't handle her own life, Phyllis? Just stop already. You know, Sue W. says verdict's still out on New Summer, but so far she doesn't seem like one to bat teary eyes and placate Phyllis's histrionics. You know, that's a darn good point, Sue W. We don't know who New Summer's going to be yet, but it would be interesting, more interesting, if instead of going along with everything Phyllis says, if we saw a little bit of push and pull between Summer and Phyllis, where maybe Phyllis remains staunch and Summer is loosens a little bit. I kind of don't think that's where it is, but you're right that Summer so far in this version, even though we don't know her yet, almost seems more like Phyllis's daughter than the previous version, in that she can have her own mind and she's going to make her own decisions, and that she's going to look at things objectively from her own point of view and decide how she wants to move forward. You're right. She doesn't need her mommy to do that for her. Oh, this is good. Laura says, I don't like it when Mariah calls Summer Snowflake. Kyle should have told her to stop, as Summer is the stepmom to his son Harrison. Out of respect to their friendship and for Harrison's benefit, the name-calling should stop. It makes Mariah seem haughty and jealous somehow. Oh, Laura, I could not agree more. I can't remember every word that was said at the wedding, but it did tick me off the way Summer was trying to say, hey, I'm here wishing you congratulations. It seemed like Summer was coming in peace, and Mariah had a real hard time accepting that. She had a hard time accepting the compliment, and you're right. The snowflake thing, I mean, I think, maybe nickname, I guess it depends on how you take it, but you're taking it as name calling, and I think that's a fair point, that it does, it's Mariah's way of saying you're precious. Hey, precious one. And if it was all in good fun and both parties kind of agreed that that's the nature of the relationship, a give and take, then that's one thing. But Summer was coming there saying, congratulations, I'm here in peace. And Mariah definitely was like, and she even, you know what she said? She said something like, it seems like I'm happy, everybody's having a good time here, even Summer. She did a speech, and I can't remember what she was exactly saying, but then she qualified it by calling Summer out, saying, blah, 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 even Summer. And it was it sat in the back of my mind, and you're only just now pulling it to the forefront. But yeah, there's something about that was very icky. Oh, well, moving on. Let's talk about Ashland and Diane. Daisy says from the previews, I wonder if Ashland and Diane will start working together to get what they want. Ashland wants Victoria, and Diane wants Kyle, her grandson, and Jack in her life on the surface. Both likely have hidden agendas that will end up hurting the people they claim to love. So what better way for Diane and Ashland to achieve their nefarious goals than to work together? But they'd each prioritize their own interests and likely sabotage the other to get their way. So I don't see a victory for either one of them if they work together. But they'll still be in town. Enter Ashley and Phyllis, secretly looking for evidence and information that will help get rid of Diane and Ashland once and for all. Yeah, they both make a perfect match, and the town pariahs need to get together. Yeah, and I really love though that Michael's kind of being there to bat for Diane just a little bit, just enough to say, well, why not give it a try? Give her a chance. I love that Michael said, Phyllis, you've gotten yourself into some situations before, and I would treat you the same way if this was what was happening to you now. I like that, and I think you're right that Ashland and Diane are going to certainly find some camaraderie there together. Ashland has no one. I mean, Diane at least had Michael, but Ashland has absolutely no one, and now he has someone. Well, speaking of being alone and having no one and feeling that pain, I asked you guys last week, are you feeling Chelsea's pain? She was having a really hard time with Ray's death, and even though we didn't see her this week at all, I'm sure that continues. Are you feeling Chelsea's pain? 74% of you say, no, give me a break. No, give me a break. 26% of you saying, yeah, I get it. And I think it's probably, I voted give me a break, but I think that's probably the easier way, more flippant response to it all. I like two comments here that are in support of Chelsea and her emotional state. Tony says, the picture you chose for the poll shows how Chelsea feels. She was developing a friendship with Ray. He was everything she always wanted in a guy. Dylan wasn't quite it, or maybe the timing was wrong. Adam was a whirl, but he brings out the worst in her instincts. Nick was too chill. Ray liked Connor, but she wasn't using Connor to lure him. Ray knew Chelsea is kind of bad, but appreciated her friendship, and that's what she has lost, really, his friendship. I don't think she was thinking about him romantically yet. She just lost a friend who didn't really want to use her, or woo her, or own her, or change her. I get it. Oh, that's good. She lost a friend who didn't really want to use her, woo her, own her, change her. I get that. Yeah, except I do think that she was projecting the romantic relationship playing out. That's the only thing. I agree that she is mourning the friendship, and that's totally legit. But she did have that hotel breakdown scene, and we saw her have the sex dream about him though too, or some sort of she had some sort of romantic dream about him, and then she had the breakdown in her hotel where she was saying, this could have been the man that I loved, and I didn't get a chance at that. So, but I think you're right that what she is mourning is the friendship and the fact that someone was accepting of her. columnist said, I may be in the minority here, but I like the way they've written the story for Chelsea. Her soliloquy in her hotel suite may have been the most honest and healthiest she's been with herself. It was also a believable follow-up to the conversation Sharon had with her at Crimson Lights the night Ray died. They had an undeniable connection. Ray would have likely never acted on it. Chelsea may have tried, but it's not that out of touch with reality to meet someone and wish and believe that in another time you could have been great together. Chelsea's grieving the newfound hope she achieved with the idea of a good man like Ray seeing her for who she was and living and loving her anyway. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess it isn't that uncommon to go ahead and to think about what have been. I guess I just don't practice that regularly. I don't like to spend too much time in what might have been. But I think you're right that that's probably where Chelsea is, and it's probably the most healthy and honest that she's been with herself in a long time. Well, let's end on this. Daisy says, I loved the scenes with Esther and Chloe. Maybe Esther will finally find the love of her life, someone who has their own fortune and will actually love her. I hope they show the dates she goes on. It will be fun, especially when she tells her daughter all about it. But I also wonder if they went through with her dating history because Chloe's father will be making an appearance. And even though Esther is older and wiser, if he showed up, she'd be taken aback and speechless. Chloe, not so much. Oh yeah, you know, there was a lot of mention of Tiny there, and you never know, Y&R could possibly be building up to a storyline for Chloe and Esther. I would welcome that. I would really not mind seeing a small B story about Esther and Tiny coming back. And I've really enjoyed Elizabeth Hendrickson being back on the show too. I like Chloe, and I've liked seeing her, and I could stand to see more of them, especially if we are going to go ahead and celebrate Kate Linder's 40-year anniversary. Why not work her in for a little something special now?
Well, speaking of anniversaries,
Y&R Chat anniversary. I guess I could call it a birthday. Should I call it a birthday? I do my the birthday shout outs. Maybe this week's birthday shout out is Y&R Chat. Founded May 26th, 2008. That makes Thursday the 14-year anniversary of Y&R Chat. Wow, I feel old. I guess in the spirit of embracing what is, I am getting old. At least I think I look maybe better than I did when I started, so I'll hang on to that, because let's see, May 26th, 2008 is the date of the first YouTube video, all the way back. Gee, I hope YouTube never decides to delete old videos or something. That would make me sad. But yeah, the podcast started like 2 years later, but I mean, I really, it's funny, I never really thought about doing a podcast. It was just YouTube was kind of big at the time, and I just wanted to go ahead and chat about Y&R, so I just did that. And YouTube was so accessible. Turn on the camera and go upload it, and there you go. And then later it evolved into podcasts, kind of taken off, and they got popular right around that time too. So this always kind of started out as a video project, and then once podcasts got popular, I just started pulling the audio into a separate file and putting that out there too. Hey, I just heard that Apple is discontinuing iPods. So what's that mean for iTunes? Well, I guess if you have an iPhone, that would you'd still be able to access that. But if you listen to podcasts, do you listen somewhere other than iTunes or the podcast app, or however? How do you listen to your podcasts if not on Apple? That's what I'm wondering. I'd love to know that. And still, nobody's really come over to take YouTube's place. So at least I still got the YouTube channel up there. But yeah, 14 years. Y&R Chat is a teenager. Y&R Chat is a 14-year-old girl. Happy birthday, Y&R Chat. And it has certainly grown and become bigger and more meaningful because of you. I mean, I just come and do a straight line of each week, but you guys really fill in, fluff it out. You guys are the comfy couch on which to sit to watch the Y&R Chat wedding. You guys, you're the gifts, you're the flowers, you're everything that fills it out. I guess I'm just the main event. You guys really make a big difference, not only in Y&R Chat, but in my life. I mean, you guys are my peeps. I really enjoy chatting with you every week, and I hope that you come back next week to chat with me again. Go to yrchat.com to leave your comments, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye!